The Iraq War is no longer the #1 issue in the presidential campaign. The faltering economy is. The candidates are rushing around like mad trying to define their economic stimulus packages, and even more importantly, where they're going to get the money to pay for the economic stimulus package. What they forgot about was all the money we're spending on the Iraq War. The war and occupation of Iraq has already cost this country $500 billion. $500 billion. Write it down, see how many zeros that is. It's a stunning figure. That works out to $4,100 per household in this country. What would you do with $4,100? Now that's an economic stimulus package. Maybe you could invest in the future, pay for your kid's education, get braces for the teenager, or get granddad the cataract operation that he needs. $4,100, what would you do with it? I bet you wouldn't use it to blow up buildings in Baghdad. The economic stimulus package that the President and the Democrats in Congress have proposed comes out to around $140 billion. Guess what? That's exactly the amount of money we're going to spend in Iraq this year, $140 billion. It works out to about $275 million a day. What could we do with that money? Well, that amount of money would pay for health care for about 4 million people. It could hire over 2 million teachers for our schools. Or we could provide 1 million affordable housing units around the country. Instead, we're wasting it on war. $145 billion, $275 million a day, each and every day. But the war in Iraq isn't the end of the story. Congress almost unanimously just passed a $650 billion defense spending bill. $650 billion headed toward the Pentagon. And it doesn't end there. There's all kinds of other parts of the military budget. When you add it all up, it comes out to close to $1.5 trillion per year being spent on military. That's more than we spend on every other program combined in this country. $1.5 trillion on military adventurism. It seems that in this country we're on a permanent war economy footing, spending all this money on militarism and military projects. They call it a defense budget. Well, we're spending more on our defense budget than the rest of the world combined. Just what are we defending against? So we've spent $500 billion on the Iraq War so far. What have we gotten for it? Well, we've gotten nearly 4,000 of our young people killed, 60,000 of them wounded. Over 700,000 Iraqi civilians have been killed, and 4 million of them are refugees. Is that a wise investment, or could we be doing something a lot better with our money? Let's give that $4,100 to each household and see how they would invest it. I bet they'd come up with a lot better ideas than killing people in a foreign country. The presidential candidates are all talking about change. They want change. They're the ones that are going to bring change. Well, a real change would be for them to admit that we're on this war economy and it has to change. We have to reorder our spending priorities in this country, and it would be refreshing to hear a candidate actually admit that we're spending far too much on our military and far too little on our people at home. Refreshing? Yeah, that would be refreshing. In fact, it would be downright stimulating. $1 billion, $2 billion, $5 billion, $10 billion. Do you know, in the short time it took you to watch this video, the United States would have spent about $1 million on the war in Iraq. $500 billion. I'm Paul George. Here to tell you, Orwell was an optimist.